Hello there. All right, guys. So we're going over my Ruck. This is what I ended up taking out. When it comes down to these CL locations, so we're out there between 1 to 3 days. We did get extended for a 4th day. Whatever you bring out with you, that's all you got. So there's a lot of considerations kind of take into account, not just the mission that you're doing, but also, especially for us, weather. Is it going to be dry, or is it going to rain like crazy like it's been doing for the past few days now, where it's just a torrential downpour? So I'll go over everything. So this here's what I took. I would say maybe not so much a recommendation, but just, hey, build off of what this right here is. Take away, add stuff. If you can fit it, go ahead and fit it in your Ruck. But if you don't have to take it, don't take it. So I'm going to start off on the outside first. So down here at the bottom, on either side, I have these the U.S. Marine Corps, the hydration bladder kind of pouches. And I just have a 2-quart canteen, and then an MRE in the bottom of each one. That's on either side. Then, of course, I have the 2 1-quart canteens that are up front on the actual waist belt itself. There is some Molly on the side of these packs. I don't actually know who makes this pack. We think that it's T3 gear. There's no brand marking on it whatsoever, but Security Forces got issued these right here out. And said I really like it. It's a really, really good Ruck. But there's Molly that's on the side. That's how I've attached these Marine Corps pouches here. And then up here on the top, I've got these smaller GP pouches. So on this side, up here, one of my most important things, it's kind of in a Ziploc bag to keep it dry. I have my extra set of socks, my extra set of underwear, then my extra set of gloves. Reason why I have a second set of gloves is just I'm wearing gloves a lot, especially when it's raining. They get super wet. You hate putting your hands inside wet gloves. So I just have a very thin pair of extra gloves in here just in case. All right, and then of course also the Ziploc bag, I've got my batteries. Okay, so most of these right here are AA. I've got a few of the smaller ones for the PEG 15 and things that are like that. But said if you got something that takes batteries, bring extra batteries. Especially said if you guys got the PVS 31s, I think the battery life's a little bit better on those. The PVS 14s though just burns through batteries like crazy. So said extra batteries. I'll move over to the other side so you can see that exact same pouch on this side. And this one right here just has, this is the Sawyer water filter. So the Sawyer water filter, I've got the extra little bag that comes with it. Said I really like this right here. This here is once again just kind of my my emergency thing, as a just in case. I just want to have a way to filter out water. It just makes me feel safer, more comfortable. Also in here I have the M4, M9, well I guess M18 now, the 9 mils, the cleaning kit. It's just the standard issue one. Said holds all the stuff that you need to clean both weapon systems in one small compact package. So I've ended up carrying this right here out with me. It does have a little bottle of CLP in there. Always need lube. And then I have my eating utensil. This is, who makes this? MTAC. But yeah, it's a spoon, knife, and fork all in one. I don't know, the rescue squadron bought a shit ton of these, so I was like, cool, got myself an extra eating utensil. So moving on to my 3 larger pouches. Okay, so I got 3 larger pouches that are down here. And in this one over here, I have my E-tool. E-tool is for entrenching. Should not be hard to figure out. I'm probably not filling up sandbags going to a location that we are at, so we're not there for too long, but I'm definitely going to dig in as much as possible. Even if it's a shallower Ranger grave, or I'm stacking that dirt up on in front of me, patting it down, I'm gonna have to want some sort of cover, especially if I'm sleeping. I definitely just don't want to sleep flat on the ground. I'm trying to dig myself in a little bit. If you guys have ever been out in the woods, you're actually going to set up your poncho and it's raining really well. Of course, always put your head up top, but I also end up digging out a little trench around me just to keep that water, so when it is running off the side of the poncho, it does kind of fill in there and then runs down. Just something I done that mistake where I woke up and I was just pretty much a nice little puddle that I dug myself into like an idiot. So learned from that, got an E-tool at all times. In this main pouch here, I have my boonie. I know that everybody is starting to get into boonies now. Thank you, Grand Thumb, for making these, I guess, cool again. I wear a boonie because I am super freaking white and I burn, okay? So that's why I have a boonie, is to help cover up these giant ears and my very white face. I'd love to say this is just because of the winter time. It is not. I am just very, very white. Further down inside the pouch is my warming layer. So this here is just the issued, I want to say it's the waffle top. It's the level 2, I want to say, in the Equic system. I love this thing. It is fantastic. I can actually wear this over my combat shirt. I can wear it underneath, like, you know, stuff, like whatever, but it's very comfortable, and it just keeps me a lot warmer than I was really expecting. So I've really been using this right here like a lot, as opposed to some of the thicker jackets. Also, like, you know, here like at nighttime, so during the summer, it gets down to maybe like 60 something degrees. So not too, like, you know, necessary, but if it does get a little bit colder, you know, I do have that warming layer. And then on the far side over here is just my standard issue tarp. Its little protective waterproof like bag there. And once again, so this right here is for not just, you know, setting up for me for like a shelter, but also so that if you guys have, you know, 240, any sort of like weapon system that is like set up, or just really any gear, like comm gear especially, you just throw this here like over to help like keep it dry. So the other thing that it is used for is for covering up dead bodies. I know that sounds kind of like, you know, messed up, but that is what I've seen the poncho used quite a bit. The Army was like, hey, make sure you have like your poncho, it is for this. And then, you know, I saw a guy that an EFP had cut him in half, and they had his top portion that had been knocked outside the vehicle covered up with like a poncho. So there's a lot of uses like for it. And I will stress that if you are somewhere and somebody, you know, dies, having everybody being able to just like look at him, I don't call it a morale killer, it sounds fucked up, but the traumatic effects just from seeing that is something that will stick with folks like a long time. Cover them up. All right. Going over here, so once again, there's more Molly that's set up on like the top of like this pouch here, and this right here is actually that USGI waist pack. I picked this up from Venture Surplus. It fits perfectly. It's 6 Molly columns wide, fits right there, and I'm pretty much calling this right here almost like my my first sergeant pouch. So in here, I am carrying a few different things. So one, baby wipes, because you need baby wipes in the field. I carry that large thing of it just because I know there's going to be troops that aren't going to like bring theirs, or they're going to need some. So I try to bring, you know, extras. This right here, this is the no gnats, because we have a lot of gnats over here. The mosquito repellent, and then a small thing. It's like the sunscreen. It's one of the little face sticks. Most of your body is actually being like covered up, but your face always gets you know, sun on, and nobody ever thinks to bring it. I don't know why, but once again, I'm very white, so I bring it, and I let other folks like use it as well. So that's it. Just extra stuff for me and for my guys. I also bring out a crap ton of Band-Aids, all right? I don't know what it is, but people setting up, you know, comm equipment, setting up like whatever, everybody's always cutting themselves. I don't need to throw a tourniquet on somebody's like small paper cut. So I always bring out a whole bunch of Band-Aids. And yes, this is a lot. Once again, I'm bringing this out for, you know, about 25 folks. And then the rest of the stuff I end up like having inside here is usually just like, you know, snacks. So I'll have quite a few of these Ziploc bags, and kind of like almost, I don't want to say like a MRE like replacement, but I don't just eat MREs. I'll eat 2 MREs a day, but then I end up eating some of like the snacks. So like in here, I've got one of the Strike energy bars from the MREs. I usually have a whole bunch of these Kids Cliff bars. I think they taste better. Then I'll have like a bunch of granola bars and stuff. So carry a bunch of those. And then there's these things right here. So these are the chocolate protein drink powder. If you remember the milkshakes used to come in the MREs in like the early mid 2000s, I didn't mind those. These right here are a lot better, and I want to say they're like 280 calories. So, you know, good way to get some stuff into you, some calories, but also it tastes like, you know, pretty good. I really like these. So that's kind of covers most of us on like the outside here. Moving over to the top, once again, so this here is just my my Camelback that holds, you know, the good bit of the water I end up like drinking out of. It sits right here on top of like the Ruck. Actually moving into the main compartment here, so get this right here open. So on the very top, I have, this is my battle belt, right? I will go over this right here later on, but the reason why I have that sitting here like on top is because I've got my plate carrier on, I've got my Ruck on. Trying to wear the Ruck with the battle belt kind of like just blows. So I end up sticking that inside here. That way, once I get like on the ground, I drop the Ruck, I can pull that right there out, set it up, and I'm good to go. So inside here, I got a few things. One, this right here is one of the USMC assault pouches. I actually have 6 magazines inside here. So this here is just kind of like, you know, my my resupply in case I run out. I am carrying 6 mags on my person plus 1 in the gun, but I always take out, you know, extra ammo. almost a necessity for us. Instead, just a rain jacket. There's a few different ones. There's this one. I think this is that U.S. Forces one. And then there's also one that everybody keeps calling it the trash bag. It's like a Gore-Tex. I like the Gore-Tex one. It's definitely more waterproof. But with the humidity, it gets a little warm inside there. So this one right here works out pretty well, but it's not quite as hot. Going down in here, I also have my extra clothes. What I mean by extra clothes is that is all of my my socks, my underwear, and for like 3 days out, I'll usually end up bringing about 4 or 5 pairs of socks. And once again, that's because it just gets so wet. I also have an extra pair of boot insoles in there. Thank you, Grunt Perspective, for giving me that idea. I saw that in one of his videos. Like, hey, that's great. Your boots get wet. You got to put your warm, dry feet with a new change of socks in a wet boots kind of blows. Changing out the insoles actually works like pretty well. So good little tip there from him. The rest of stuff I have in here, I have my 4 MREs. This year, just like my civilian ones, I do, of course, get issued out the actual military ones. I take those out with me, not eating my own personal supply stuff for an exercise, but I do strip these down a little bit. Really, all I end up taking out is I take out the spoon with like that little, where it's got like, your napkins, things like that, your salt, your pepper. I take all that right there out. I take the heating element out, and then I end up taking out the, this little it's the cardboard piece that says like what it is. I said I don't use any of that stuff. I eat my MREs like cold, and I don't really care like what it is. I just pull one out and eat it. But I keep everything that's inside it. Okay, when it comes down to stripping down MREs, said I need the calories that are in these things, so I eat everything with the exception of the it's like these little like lifesaver like peppermint things. Those are horrible. I don't know who put those in the MREs, but I do not bring those out. I throw those away. So I got 4 MREs that are in there, and then down here at the very bottom is just my sleep system. Said I did find my this is my the Marine Corps like waterproof thing that the actual sleep system comes in. So I did find this right here. So I've got my sleep system back inside here, and said I did a video on that right there, like earlier. So I'm not really gonna kind of dive into that. So this is just what I ended up taking for 3 days out in the field. Said we were extended out for a 4th day, but this right here is enough to kind of like get me by. I probably could do it with a smaller ruck, with like that USGI, that Molly 2, the medium-sized ruck. But said I really like this ruck. It's super comfortable like to wear. If you're wondering how heavy this is, I have no idea. I don't really think that the weight so much matters as I need all this stuff. At least I think I need all this stuff. So I hope this here like helps. If you guys have any questions about why I brought something that I did, if you guys have any suggestions about things that maybe, hey, get rid of this, replace it with this, I'm all ears. Put it down in the comments. This here is just for all those other airmen that are going out doing this mission, security forces, crew chiefs, POL, LZSO, like you name it. This right here is just kind of a baseline. Hey, take stuff like this and improve as necessary. So hope this helps. That's all I got. Later, guys.